Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. From era to era, one discovers the entire truth. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. Friendship is an art of keeping distance, while love is an art of intimacy. In the small matters, trust the mind. In the large ones, the heart. People do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. The ego is not master in its own house. Public self is a conditioned construct of the inner psychological self. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. And what is needed for solving the problems of human life and motives is not more estimates, but more knowledge. We choose not randomly each other. We meet only those who already exists in our subconscious. Words have a magical power. They can either bring the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. All family life is organized around the most damaged person in it. Knowledge is the intellectual manipulation of carefully verified observations. I have found little good about human beings. In my experience, most of them are trash. Not to know the past is to be in bondage to it, while to remember, to know, is to be set free. The only shame in masturbation is the shame of not doing it well. Maturity is the ability to postpone gratification. Psychiatry is the art of teaching people how to stand on their own feet while reclining on couches. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. It is impossible to escape the impression that people commonly use false standards of measurement when making a decision of minor importance. I have always found it advantageous to consider all the pros and cons. Life, as we find it, is too hard for us. It brings us too many pains, disappointments, and impossible tasks. The ego refuses to be distressed by the provocations of reality, to let itself be compelled to suffer. At the height of being in love, the boundary between ego and object threatens to melt away.